So we're going to do 9 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So mine's too big. The decimal goes right in the middle. That's where you put the word and. And then just based on what we did, it's probably been about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago when we reviewed this, write the words that go in each of these boxes telling you what place value those are. I want you to try to remember and do it, then I'll come back and fold them in, but just see what you can remember. All right, so before the decimal, we have the ones place, the tens place, hundreds, and then once you get beyond the hundreds, it moves into the thousands. Now, after the decimal, the first place after the decimal is the tenths place. For example, if you have 0.6 and we're talking money, that's not 6 cents, that's 60 cents. Okay? The second place after the decimal is the hundredths place. Then we have really tiny, the thousandths place. And after that, the 10 thousandths place. Now there are a lot more places beyond thousands and smaller than thousandths, but those are the only ones we're going to deal with today. So you need to know this place value chart. So when you are doing examples and I say round to the nearest hundredth, you know that the hundredths place is 2 after the decimal. All right, so we're just going to practice rounding things off today. Some of y'all have forgotten a little bit about rounding, so this might be a refresher or this might just be an incredibly easy lesson for you, but we're just going to practice rounding. And the 2 main rules you need to remember for rounding is if a number is 5 or bigger, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, 5 or bigger causes you to round up. 4 or smaller. This is not a decimal. I don't know. This is like a little dash. Just some way to differentiate between your 2 rules. 4 or smaller stays the same. Those are the 2 rules. So for these first examples, you know what? Here we go. If I've got half a sheet, I'll be more likely to keep it there on the screen. So for our first examples, you need to write these instructions. Round to the hundreds place. And I'm going to write down 6 examples. I'm going to do 3 with you and then let you practice 3 of them. So I'm going to do 3 numbers here that I round off. And 4, 5, and 6 you'll do to show that you understand it. So write these numbers with me. The first number is going to be 728. The second number is 1,571. The third number is 1,093, 1093. Number 4 is 567. Number 5, 1,234. And number 6, 5,012. So I'm going to do 3 of them with you and then let you do 3 on your own. So as I look at this first number, Jacob, what digit is in the hundreds place?
Wait, say it.
What number is in the hundreds place that I'm rounding to? We're doing number 1. What number's in the hundreds place?
2.
No, 2's in the tens place. 7 is in the hundreds place. Okay? 7 is the number in the hundreds place. But you always look behind it, at the number behind it, to get instructions about what to do with that 7. And you already wrote those rules down. If the number behind it is 5 or bigger, we round up. We bump up to the next biggest number. But if it's 4 or smaller, then we leave it alone. So Lydia, what does the 2 tell you to do about the 7? Leave it alone. So the 7 remains the same, and these other 2 numbers after the decimal become zeros. So 728, if we round to the hundreds place, becomes 700.
I thought you left it the same.
Nope, zeros.
Anytime you don't round it, it's a 0.
What is behind the rounding place is a 0. Okay? So for number 2, what number, Lydia, is in the hundreds place? 5 is in the hundreds place. But Elena, what number do we look at for rounding instructions?
7.
We do look at the 7. And Jacob, what does the 7 tell you to do?
Round up.
So what am I going to write here? Tell me, you are correct. We round up. Well, you're close.
Oh, no. Yeah, 16,700.
1,600. That's not 16,000.
Oh,
That's 1,600. So the 7 tells you to bump the 5 up to a 6, and these other 2 numbers become zeros. So, Lydia, what number in number 3, what digits in the hundreds place?
0.
And Jacob, what number gives you rounding instructions?
9.
So, Elena, what are we going to do with that?
1,100.
There you go. The 9 tells you to bump that 0 up to a 1, and then everything after the hundredths place becomes a 0. So you do 4, 5, and 6. Y'all did a good job with 1, 2, and 3. You do 4, 5, and 6. Okay, 4, 5, and 6. 5's in the hundreds place. 6 tells you to bump that up. So that rounds off to 600. For number 5, 2 is in the hundredths place. The number behind it is 3, which is too small to do any changing. So the 2 stays the same, and everything behind it becomes a 0. For number 6, 0 is in the hundredths place. 1 tells you to leave the 0 as is, and then the 2 digits after the hundreds place become zeros. So your 3 answers should be 600, 1,200, and 5,000. Okay? All right, here are your next set of instructions. Now we're going to round to the tens place. And we're only going to do 4 of these examples. I'll do 2 with you, and then you do 2 on your own. So here are the numbers you need to write down. The first number is 987. Number 2, 1,357. Number 3, 6,420. Number 4, 548. So make sure you've got the numbers written down correctly. Number 1 is 987. Number 2, 1357. Number 3, 6420. And number 4, 548. So Elena, for number 1, tell me what number I'm going to underline.
8.
You are. That's correct. The number behind it's a 7. So Lydia, what does the 7 tell me to do about the 8? Bump it up to a 9, and then everything behind it becomes a 0. For number 2, Jacob, what digit do I underline?
5.
That's correct. The number behind it's a 7. Elena, what does the 7 tell me to do?
Round it.
Bump it up to a 6, and then everything behind it becomes a 0. So you do 3 and 4.